have some celebrity fragrances that I have in my collection that I think smell very luxurious, very expensive, and of course they're all super cheap. So let's jump right into this list. The first fragrance that I'm gonna start with is the most obvious choice on this list, which is Ariana Grande's Cloud. This is the intense version. If you don't have the intense version, the regular version will do just fine. In my opinion, they smell like the exact same scent. I think this one is a little bit sweeter, but at the end of the day, they do smell exactly alike. And I don't think you need the intense version if you already have the regular version, unless you just want it for that small little difference that, you know, we find in the intense version. They have the same exact notes, except for the fact that the intense version does have a cashmere note in the base. So I'm just showing you guys for reference, but we're going to talk about the regular one because I think that's what a lot of people have and it's what a lot of people can afford. I'm going to assume that you guys haven't been sleeping under a rock, and we've heard millions of times you know, people comparing this fragrance to the luxurious Baccarat Rouge 540 by MFK. So of course I got me a sample because your girl is not gonna buy a bottle of fragrance for $300, and I'm glad I got the sample because honestly, do I need this in my collection? Probably not, especially because I already have fragrances that are very similar to this fragrance. When I first applied Baccarat Rouge 540, I didn't think that the openings smelled alike. They smell similar, but not the exact same. I would say the opening to Baccarat Rouge smells more like Burberry Her, and the dry down of Baccarat Rouge smells more like Cloud. If you are curious about Baccarat Rouge 540 and you're tempted to spend that $300, you know, think twice about it because you may just be satisfied with Cloud. So that's my little take on these fragrances. Of course, this is just my opinion, but I definitely had to add Cloud to this list. So next up on this list is another celebrity scent that I think smells very expensive, very luxurious. It's like it doesn't even make any sense. It's Adam Levine's Perfume for Women. The first time I smelled this fragrance, my first reaction was that, wow, it smells very expensive. It smells very luxurious. It smells way more expensive than what it costs. It has a very warm, spicy sandalwood type scent. It's a little sweet. We do have vanilla and benzoin in this scent, so it does give off that resinous sweetness that we often find in more, you know, expensive smelling fragrances. This is typically not the type of fragrance that I'm drawn to. Like I said, it's woodsy, it's spicy, it's a little bit sweet, and it does have this unisex vibe, but I have to give it up to this perfume. It does smell expensive and it does smell luxurious, and it really, really is a great performer. So if you're into these kind of fragrances, definitely check this out. I think I only paid $11 for the 3.4 ounce bottle on FragranceNet. Of course, I'm gonna provide you guys with the link. So if you want to check this out, definitely go down below and use the links that I provide in my description box. This is a great scent if it's your type of scent. Up next is another fragrance that I decided to add to this list. It's by Elizabeth and James, and this one is from their Nirvana line, and this one is called White. There are several fragrances under this line, and I think they smell all expensive. They smell like niche. Well, I think they are niche, right? I'm not sure, but in reality, this is really a celebrity scent. A lot of people seem to forget that twins Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen are the names behind this fragrance. Apparently, according to some sources that I found online, the line was inspired by their siblings, Elizabeth and James. Elizabeth being more like a stylish uptown type girl, and James being more of a down-to-earth, edgy type of person. And when you combine the two, it gives you that uniqueness, and that's what they kind of put into these fragrances. It's basically a clean, fresh, white floral scent. It has peony, musk, and lily of the valley. I can't really detect all those notes. I do get the musk, but the lily of the valley and the peony, I'm not getting that. It just smells like a clean, fresh, minimalistic white scent. When it dries down, it gets a little bit warmer and sweeter, and it takes on this more, I guess, synthetic type of smell. Not synthetic in a bad way at all. As a matter of fact, what I get is ambroxan. Ambroxan could be quite pleasant in scents, and I do notice that a lot of niche brands and designer brands like to use ambroxan in the dry down of their fragrances just to give it that expensive vibe. It gives it like a warmth, like a sweet warmth, a little muskiness that does give the fragrance a lot of weight, and that's basically what I get in this fragrance. Definitely smells expensive. For the 1 ounce bottle, I did pay 29 bucks, which I think is a good price, especially when you think about the quality and scent of this fragrance. So I definitely feel as though I got a deal, and I just had to add it to this list. This is Nirvana White, and it's by Elizabeth and James. So another fragrance that I decided to add to this list is White Diamonds and Rouge, and this one is by Elizabeth Taylor. I think sometimes, once again, a lot of people forget that Elizabeth Taylor was an actress. She was basically an iconic celebrity that starred in many movies, like in the 1950s. She really dominated Hollywood, but at the end of the day, she was a fabulous celebrity. So that's the reason why I'm adding this fragrance to this list. I think this is one of her best, if not her best creation. It's my favorite fragrance from the White Diamonds line. I know a lot of people get nervous when they see white diamonds because they think of that classic scent that she originally came out with, which is basically this big, bold, aldehydic bomb. I will confidently suggest this one to you guys because it smells nothing like that. They don't have the same vibe or anything like that. The only thing they have in common is this cylindrical bottle, and I do feel as though it has a little classy feel to it. So let's talk about the scent. It smells so good. So the dominant note that you get in this one is raspberry. So it has a very bright, sweet raspberry note. I think it's beautiful. To be honest, I think it's the best raspberry note I've ever encountered in a fragrance. It's really, really pretty. We have a little bit of pink pepper that kind of adds a little bit of a kick to the fragrance. They added some florals in the heart. We have rose, jasmine, and orange blossom. And I guess what I get the most from the heart are the rose and the orange blossom. It smells a little bit soapy. I like to describe this one as a raspberry bubble bath type scent. So in the first phase of the fragrance, that's basically what you get, like a raspberry bubble bath type scent. I think it smells so pretty. I was just about floored when I sprayed this out. I was just so impressed by it. It smells so good. The dry down is a different story. I was also caught off by the dry down. So the first time I wore this fragrance, I wore it to bed, and I went to bed smelling like I had taken a shower with a raspberry bubble bath, but when I got up, I was met with the dry down, which was very woody, and it smells very unique. I was not expecting the dry down to be what it is. I thought I was just gonna get a lighter version of the opening, but in the dry down, where we have the vetiver, patchouli, I believe we have amber. So in the dry down, it becomes very woodsy. I had to literally go back, look at the notes, and make sure that there was no oud in the dry down of this fragrance, because the dry down, in my opinion, does get a little bit oudy. If you're not into that woodsy, oudy type of fragrance, you may want to pass on this one, because that's basically what the dry down is all about. You still have the raspberry note, you still have the beautiful smell of the opening in the base, but you're definitely gonna be picking up on those woody notes. The reason why I added this fragrance to this list is because if you notice, there are a lot of luxury brands using oud in their fragrances, of course, because oud is somewhat of an expensive ingredient. It's like a luxury ingredient that a lot of perfumers like to put into their fragrances. It gives it this expensive vibe. You know, some people like it, some people don't, but I'm here to tell you that this fragrance basically smells like raspberry bubble bath with a little bit of oud in the dry down. If that sounds like your sort of thing, definitely try this one out. Up next is one of my favorites, and that is Rogue by Rihanna. I absolutely love this scent. It's one of my favorite celebrity fragrances ever. I swear to God, this has some sort of aphrodisiac. Like when I smell this, like my mouth starts to water, my heart speeds up a little bit. Like I don't know what the hell it is, but this perfume smells so good to me. It's so amazing. It smells so good. This fragrance is like perfect for fall. If your vibe is all about being like classy but a little bit edgy, this fragrance is definitely for you. What I get from this fragrance is definitely the plum. The plum gives it like a sharp, fruity type scent. So the plum in here is not really like overly sweet and ripe. It's more like of a tart, dry, plummy type scent. Then you have the suede and the musk that gives it this musky, dry, exotic type smell. It smells so good. The vanilla gives it like a little bit of sweetness, but it's not like an edible type sweetness. Like it's so hard to describe, but it is amazing. When I think about this one, I think about luxurious items. I think about like an expensive purse. I think about like luxury cars. I don't know, it makes me think about expensive things when I smell it. It smells so good. It's type edgy, so if you have like an edgy personality, this is definitely for you. I love this scent, and the performance on this one is pretty good, especially when you layer it with the lotion. You either get this scent or you don't, but that's okay. It's a lovely scent in my opinion. But the last fragrance that we have on this list is Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. So of course, if you are familiar with this scent, you already know what I'm gonna compare this to and why I added it to this list. So basically, this is a clean, musky, floral type perfume. It's very smooth, it's very clean, it's fresh. It does have a mature edge to it. A lot of people compare this to Narciso Rodriguez for her. They have that smooth, creamy, musky, floral thing going on. So I definitely think that they smell alike. As we know, Narciso Rodriguez is a very well-known, established designer. His fragrances are of quality. They usually smell very amazing, and they are like usually not cheap. Every year I have to get my mom the EDP, and it's like, you got to spend some money. To have a fragrance in my collection that mimics the smell of that expensive fragrance is really a blessing. Definitely look into Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in. Okay guys, so that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope it was super helpful. If you have any interest in any of the fragrances that I spoke about in today's video, do not forget to check the links that I provided below. Anyway guys, that's it. I love y'all so much. Bye.